and welcome to another episode of Other Items of Interest. I'm your host, Jack Zablocki. This week, we've got it all, including Hedgehog Sex. That's right. You know the little cute guys, little hedgehog fellas? They have sex too. And we learn about it. We have all that and more. I think you'll enjoy. Hello and welcome to another episode of Other Items of Interest. I'm your host, Jack Zablocki, and my voice sounds a little hoarse. Let me take a sip of water. This is a very unprofessional way to start the show. Okay, maybe that's not better at all. We're just gonna go with it. Well, it's hot where I live. Is it hot where you are? Where you live right now? I do understand that it's August and that is the summer month, but it's so damn hot. It's all I can think about. If you listened to the show last week, in my opinion, it was a bit of a train wreck. Not very good stories. I was a bit out of sorts for reasons that will remain a mystery, I guess. This week I feel a little bit better, just a little bit better. And there are better stories as well. You know, I wanted to talk about something that bothered me over the weekend. I'll try to make it brief and quick because it's probably not very interesting to anybody but me. But it is my show, so I'll talk about what I want. You can fast forward if you'd like. Be my guest. I went to the movies over the weekend, and out of the many trailers they showed, one of them was Cats from the Broadway musical that ran for like 19 years on Broadway. It's musical singing, dancing cats, and I did not like it, not one bit, and I'll tell you why. When I was a kid, I grew up on the East Coast. I grew up in New York, and they show on TV commercials for Broadway plays like they would for movie trailers, except they're on forever because a Broadway play runs for however long. As a kid, I hated those goddamn cats. I hated the face makeup and the fursuits and the singing and dancing and whatever other weird shit they were doing on stage there. And you say, well, why didn't you just change the channel? Well, way back then in the old days, we didn't have remotes. You had to go up to the TV and turn the big dial. And when I was little, I wasn't strong enough to turn the big dial. It was too much for my little hand and arm to do. So, and I wouldn't go close to that TV when that commercial was airing for the Broadway musical Cats. I wouldn't go near it at all. Just hide behind the couch and wait for the music to stop and for the TV to go to the next commercial or back to the show or whatever. But you know what? Watching the movie trailer in the theater, man, that brought back some memories. Which, by the way, is one of the song Memories, and it's really annoying. It reminded me of a reoccurring nightmare I had as a little kid, where I found myself on a big long street of houses in my neighborhood somewhere, in the middle of the night, pitch black. The only light was from street lamps, and I was trying to find my way home because it was way past my bedtime, obviously, with it being pitch black out. And I would walk down toward one end of the street, and as I got closer, I noticed a group of what I thought was people walking towards me, but they were actually those goddamn Broadway cats. And they're walking all sly and, doing their leg kicks and pirouettes and slowly slithering on all fours. And it scares the shit out of me now. And I would turn around, of course, because I didn't want any of that. and I'd start going the other way to find that there was another group of these Broadway musical cats coming at me, doing their leg kicks and pirouettes and, being sly and spooky, creepy. And I could see their face makeup, and it was just unsettling. And I was just going to be sandwiched between these two groups of freaky cats. And it was a reoccurring nightmare I had throughout my childhood. So hopefully those nightmares come back now that I've remembered them. I just wanted to talk about that, get that off my chest. Start the show with a little funny, if it was funny. I don't know if I would dare see the Cats movie in the theater. I don't like musicals, for one, but from what I've been through in life, I don't think I can handle it. I think I'm going to skip out on this one. I think it's for the best. Anyway, we have a decent show for you today. An update or a companion news article to one we did recently. And we got some other funny ones and disturbing ones, scary ones, all sorts of stories for you. So sit back, relax, enjoy the show. And here we go. This story is a bit of a companion piece to a story we did 2 weeks ago, perhaps, about a place called Biological Resource Center. You donated your dead body, or your family donated your dead body to this place, and they would sell off parts to, universities, whoever needed body parts for study. They'd pick up your dead body, bring it to the place, store it on ice or whatever. Whatever they didn't sell, they cremated for you and gave to you. They got into a lot of trouble, a lot of contamination. I believe the headline mentioned that there was a bucket of genitals found at this place. There's just stacks of bodies with no identification. The FBI did kind of an investigation. That's how all this came out. The FBI agent saw somebody took the largest male torso they could find and took the head off and replaced it with the smallest head they could find in the facility to make kind of like a little pinhead type creature thing. Well, they got into a lot of trouble. Anyway, here's a companion piece. This is the fallout from that. Arizona man learns mom's body sold to military, detonated in experiment. And there's a video right up top. Aerial shot of, I don't know what. I didn't watch it. Watch it and let me know what it is. I don't feel like watching it. An Arizona man was distraught to learn that his mother's body was sold to the United States military for blast testing, which involved strapping it to a chair before an explosive device was detonated underneath, an investigation revealed. It's been more than 5 years since Jim Stauffer's mother died in hospice care. 73-year-old Doris Stauffer suffered from Alzheimer's disease during the last years of her life, but doctors say she didn't have the gene for it. Doctors worried the disease may have mutated and hoped to study her brain after her passing to find out more. When the time came, though, her neurologist couldn't accept the body. And like I said, there was a lot of contamination going on at the facility. That's probably what happened. Her son hoped reaching out to other donation facilities could lead to the same result, but that was not the case. The Stauffers are one of a dozen families who still do not know what happened to the bodies of the loved ones they donated to Biological Resource Center in Maricopa County, Arizona. The guy running the place was a high school graduate and had no medical background to speak of. A really interesting story, if not disturbing. Jim Stauffer said he trusted BRC to get her brain to neurologists who could learn more about the disease, but Now he knows what really happened. According to an investigation by Reuters, Doris' body was sold to the U.S. military. She was then supposedly strapped in a chair on some sort of apparatus, and a detonation took place underneath her. To basically kind of get an idea of what the human body goes through when a vehicle is hit by an IED, Jim said. Years later, the inside of Doris' home remains unchanged. Memories of her and the things she loved are still on display, including a small box filled with the only 6 ounces of her ashes her son got back. That's not very much that was left over. Every time there's a memory, every time there's a photograph you look at, there's this ugly thing that happened just right there staring right at you. She'll never be forgotten here, Jim said. So, there you go. I said at the end of that original article, when I read it, there's probably a lot more going on than we were being led to believe from the FBI. And there you go. They're just blowing up your loved ones and sending you the remains, 6 ounces worth. Superintendent on superintendent violence. When will it end? Texas superintendent suspended after allegedly headbutting another superintendent while drunk at fast food chain. From abcnews.go.com. A superintendent of a Texas school district was suspended after police and witnesses say he headbutted another superintendent while drunk at a Whataburger. Whataburger is a Southwest burger chain, if you're not aware. I've never eaten at one, so I can't tell you anything more than that. Xavier De La Torre, superintendent of El Paso's Isleta Independent School District, will lose 3 days of pay following the altercation, according to a statement from the school district on Thursday. Police said they were called to the fast food chain in San Antonio around 12:55 a.m. on June 13th about the fight. And then there's a picture of Superintendent Dr. Xavier De La Torre. He looks like a normal dude. De La Torre allegedly sparked the altercation by making fun of fellow Superintendent Jose Espinoza's clothing, asking him, "Where are you coming from? Soccer practice?" Guy's witty. He's got that going for him. Soccer practice. That's an A-slapper. He said that according to a police report. Espinoza, who is the superintendent of the Socorro Independent School District, which covers 3 cities in Texas, then asked De La Torre to repeat the question, at which point De La Torre did so and headbutted him in the face, the report said. Espinoza responded by punching De La Torre in the face as a means of self-defense, according to the report. An off-duty police officer and a witness told authorities they saw De La Torre first headbutt Espinoza. Officers later observed that De La Torre appeared to be drunk, noting his odor and slurred speech. No criminal charges were filed, and De La Torre was taken back to his hotel by an officer. He lived in a hotel? They don't explain that part. De La Torre did not respond to ABC News' request for comment, but he told the Associated Press he did not headbutt anyone and was not the aggressor. And that's what they all say. This one comes from theguardian.com. Miami Marlins apologize for blaming rival Rays for death of Steve Irwin. I laughed heartily when I originally read this. And there's a picture of Steve Irwin. Making the most unflattering face. Why they used this picture, I do not know. The Miami Marlins have said sorry after their official Twitter account blamed their cross-state rivals, the Tampa Bay Rays, for the death of TV presenter Steve Irwin. Florida's two Major League Baseball teams have just finished a 2-game series, which was swept by the Rays. The team's Twitter accounts had been engaged in a back and forth during the series until the Marlins decided to change the subject from baseball to Australian conservationists. The tweet read, "You're literally the animal that killed Steve Irwin. Log off," read a statement on the Marlins Twitter account on Sunday. Irwin was killed after a stingray's barb penetrated his heart while he was snorkeling in 2006. It seems so much longer ago that happened. Shortly afterwards, the team's account tweeted an apology. "Like everyone who grew up watching him, we miss Steve. We're so sorry to have made light of his passing," read the message. On Monday, the Marlins released an official apology. "This was a regrettable exchange by our otherwise creative social media team. Unfortunately, in this medium, sometimes we swing and miss. It's a baseball thing. And this was definitely a miss," read the statement. The Marlins have lost 67 games this season, have the worst record in the National League, and the lowest attendance in the entire MLB. So there, Marlins. Bunch of losers. Sometimes people just open their mouth and stupid comes out. I guess in this case they go to Facebook and do it. Make a post, and it's just so many levels of idiocy. You don't know what to make of it. From 10tv.com, WBNS, Ohio lawmaker blames Dayton shootings on gay marriage, marijuana, video games. Right. There's a picture of the representative there. I don't want to make any judgments on a picture, but I've already read what she said. She looks like a real pain in the ass. A representative from Southwest Ohio posted to her Facebook that the blame for the Dayton shootings should be placed on gay marriage, recreational marijuana, and former President Barack Obama, among other things. Obama still can't get a break. He's been out of office for years now. And they still go to him. I mean, I feel bad for the guy. Representative Candace Keller, Republican Middletown, began her post by saying, "Liberals start the blame game. After every mass shooting." What is she doing? Blame game. She's the champion of this blame game. Liberals start the blame game. After every mass shooting, and why not place the blame where it belongs? I'm just going to read from the article the points that you can read the post on the site if you check out the show notes at www.otheritemsofinterest.com. But I think the article gets the main points across. And here we go. The breakdown of the traditional American family. Thank you, transgender, homosexual marriage, and drag queen advocates. Fatherlessness, a subject no one discusses or believes is relevant. The ignoring of violent video games. I don't think people ignore violent video games. They make lots of money. They sell lots of copies. The relaxing of laws against criminals, open borders. The acceptance of recreational marijuana. Failed school policies. Hello, parents who defend misbehaving students. Disrespect of law enforcement. Thank you, Obama. How does he get blamed for that? I guess you have to blame him for something. And then in the middle of the page is her actual post. But there's more. Here we go. The post went on to blame professional athletes who hate our flag and national anthem. Democrats in Congress, lawmakers who don't value the Second Amendment, and snowflakes who can't accept duly elected president. Okay, I see where she's coming from now. I'm not saying that I agree with her by any stretch of the imagination, but I see where she's coming from. Keller's district is roughly 30 miles south of Dayton, where a gunman killed 9 people before police killed him. CBS affiliate WHIO spoke with Keller by phone, who said she posted the message to her private personal page. And I don't know, does that mean we weren't supposed to read it? So here's the thing I noticed. I'm pretty sure all these things, other than Obama, are in other countries. Other countries don't have this mass shooting problem. Just something I noticed. Maybe Obama, maybe he's the linchpin, the key to all this. He's the one they should blame. They blame him for everything else. All right, let's move on before I have a stroke. And here's a nice scary one from edition.cnn.com, CNN Health. A woman lost her hands and legs to an infection from puppy kisses. You thought puppies were all cute and sweet and nice, right? Check this out. Days after returning home from a Punta Cana vacation, Marie Traynor called out of work with a backache and nausea. Then her temperature spiked and dropped, sending her to a local Stark County, Ohio emergency room in the early hours of May 11th. When Traynor woke in a hospital bed 9 days later, her hands and legs had been amputated. That's not what you want to wake up to. You don't want to wake up to anything missing, but your hands and your legs gone. It took doctors 7 days to discover Traynor and cured a severe infection, not from a tropical travel disease as they first suspected, but from her German Shepherd's kisses. Traynor contracted a rare infection from the bacteria Capnocytophaga canemorsis, probably when her German Shepherd puppy Taylor licked an open cut. Dr. Margaret Kobe, the medical director of infectious disease at Altman Hospital in Canton, Ohio, treated Traynor and described her as delirious when she entered the intensive care unit. Shortly after, she became unconscious. Her skin started changing rapidly to a purplish red color, and then it progressed into gangrene. Traynor then developed a blood clot. I think I'm going to get rid of my dog. I think I'd live a lot happier without this worry on my mind. I'm not going to get rid of my dog. I was just joking. Don't get mad at me. It was difficult to identify. We're kind of the detectives. We went through all of these diagnoses until we could narrow things down, Kobe said. The infection spread to the tip of her nose, ears, legs, and face. She didn't lose parts of her face, but her extremities is what she had to have surgery on, Kobe said. The family sought a second opinion, hoping to save Traynor's limbs, but doctors said the damage had already been done. Blood tests and cultures confirmed the diagnosis of capnocytophaga. That was a pretty hard pill for us to all swallow, to say she was fine a couple of days ago on vacation, and now she's actively getting worse by the minute, and now her hands and feet aren't alive. Like, this doesn't happen. It's 2019, said Gina Premier, Traynor's stepdaughter and a nurse at Altman Hospital. Traynor has had 8 surgeries so far and is working with doctors to be fitted for prostheses. I wonder if I should get the robotic ones, or what. This is off the scale, one of the worst cases we have seen in terms of how ill people become with infections, Kobe said. She was close to death. I think that goes without saying when you're just kind of turning purplish red and reddish purple and everything's getting infected on you. Marie Traynor says she knows her German Shepherd puppy licked a slightly infected scratch. When the bacteria spread to humans, they do so through bites, scratches, and other close contact with dogs and cats, according to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Holy shit. Excuse me. Let me tell you what I'm saying. There's a related article, man loses hands and feet after dog-related infection, but he's also lost his nose, and it was quite shocking to see. So that is there on the page if you go read it through www.otheritemsofinterest.com by going to the show notes. Back to the article, shall we? Most people in contact with dogs and cats don't get sick, and it's rare for capnocytophagia to cause illness in humans. Those at greatest risk are people with weakened immune system, such as cancer patients and people who have had their spleens removed, the CDC said. Those who become ill may show symptoms within 3 to 5 days, although some may show signs earlier or later. In rare cases, patients can develop sepsis. About 3 in 10 people who develop a severe infection die. CDC statistics show. Man, that's a tongue twister. CDC statistics show. Capnocytophagia have been detected in up to 74% of dogs, according to the CDC. Animals can be tested for it, but those results can change. Capnocytophagia isn't on the CDC's list of reportable diseases, and experts say it's hard to pin down numbers on how rare these infections are. A 2015 report found fewer than 500 laboratory-confirmed cases that had been reported since 1961, though the bacterium was not officially named as a new species until 1989. It's a lot longer than I thought it was. Maria and Matthew Trainer have 2 dogs. It's better than AstroTurf stories, isn't it? I think so. Maria and Matthew Trainer have 2 dogs, and she says she has no intention of parting with them. She asked her doctors if she could see her dogs again during her healing process. The pups have come to Altman Hospital twice to visit. That's sweet. They brought them here 2 times at the hospital so I can see them, and that just put the biggest smile on my face, she said. Marie Trainer owns a salon. She and her husband own a local bar. They love riding motorcycles. Now their community has rallied around them to help raise money to support Trainer's medical expenses. A GoFundMe page has raised nearly $20,000, and a recent pool tournament fundraiser for Marie was standing room only, Trainer's son Matthew Trainer Jr. said. I cannot believe how everybody has come forward to help, and even people I don't know from other states. And it's unbelievable the people that have come out to help. I just don't know how to thank them all, Marie Trainer said. This is a touching, very touching story now. I got a little lump in my throat. She hopes to attend the next fundraising event on August 31st, a motorcycle poker run and dinner sponsored by friends from another local restaurant. She attributes her strength to the support of her family. It's been such a hard road to travel down, I wouldn't know what to do without them, Trainer said. Trainer will soon move from the hospital to a rehabilitation facility to learn how to use prostheses. She's been fitted for prosthetic legs and will eventually get prosthetic wrists and hands. I guess she's not getting the robot ones. That's tough. I've been feeling very good. They're healing very well, Trainer said. I'm so ready to move forward. I want to go home. I want to go back to work. She has a pretty good attitude. I don't have that kind of attitude. I mean, I'd get rid of that dog immediately. And I don't know. I don't know what I would do without hands and legs. Seems like a hard life. Started to bring everything down, but scary story nonetheless. And in more medical news from NPR.org, National Public Radio, surgeons remove more than 500 teeth from boy in India. And right up top of the page, there's a picture of, it's like they made a spiral of the teeth. They had to count them all. Some of them are very tiny. That's a lot of teeth in a spiral formation. A 7-year-old boy had long complained of having a swollen and aching jaw. Surgeons at the Savitha Dental College and Hospital in Chennai, India, operated and found 526 teeth crammed inside his mouth. The boy had a well-defined bag-like mass extracted from his jaw, which weighed 7 ounces. Just to point out, in the first story we did where the military blew up that guy's mom and he got back the ashes were only 6 ounces. This kid had 7 ounces of teeth in a little bag. Something to think about. Now I lost my place. He had it extracted from his jaw, which weighed 7 ounces and contained hundreds of miniature teeth. Once it was removed, the medical team took 5 hours to meticulously search through and count all of them. That's something you have an intern do, right? The doctors really didn't do that. Come on. It was reminiscent of pearls in an oyster, one doctor said. The hospital statement did not release the child's name. He was discharged after 3 days. Each tooth, which varied in size from 1 millimeter to 15 millimeters, displayed a crown covered by enamel and with a root-like structure, according to the hospital statement. Though there is no problem in the growth of other teeth in the boy, the growth of molar teeth is permanently affected, and he requires molar implants after turning 16, the New Indian Express reported. The procedure did not require jaw reconstruction. Surgeons said the lesion, known as a compound odontoma, I think that's it, good enough, may be attributed to genetic or environmental factors. According to the National Center for Biotechnology Information, odontomas are usually discovered in people during their first 2 decades of life, but can occur at any age. The hospital asserts that it is the first ever case to be documented worldwide where so many minute teeth were found in a single individual. 500 teeth. 500. That's, I don't know what the going rate is for teeth, for the tooth fairy. I think it's $1 a tooth nowadays. He had 526. I guess it's India, so they're rupees. I don't know what the conversion rate is for $1 to a rupee. He's looking at some good cash. He puts all those under his pillow. Lucky kid, I guess. From the files of things nobody asked for. French's creates mustard-flavored ice cream to celebrate National Mustard Day. This comes to us from fox8.com. Yeah, I don't know about this. I don't like French's mustard to begin with, so this is just gross. American mustard brand French's has teamed up with a California-based ice cream company to create mustard-flavored ice cream ahead of National Mustard Day. French's announced Wednesday that it would be bringing French's mustard ice cream to life for a limited time run in both New York and Los Angeles, fuck everybody else, to celebrate National Mustard Day, which is Saturday, according to a press release, which I'm not going to read. This limited edition ice cream was developed with Cool House Ice Cream to bring together 2 all-American classics, ice cream and mustard. Nobody wanted that in a surprising yet delicious offering, the company said. Those wishing to try the sweet and savory can grab a scoop at Cool House locations in LA between August 2nd and 4th and 9th through 11th. They can also grab a taste from the French's Mustard Ice Cream Truck at Rockefeller Center and Columbus Circle on August 1st, Brooklyn Heights and Madison Square Park on August 2nd, and Main Street in the Hamptons and East Hampton Main Beach on August 3rd. Again, screw everybody else, you're not getting any. French's says they're planning to serve the ice cream treat with a pretzel cookie, maximizing on the sweet and savory cravings. The company has also released a do-it-yourself recipe for those who want to try mustard ice cream but cannot travel to New York City or LA. Yeah, nobody's going to travel to New York City or LA just to try the ice cream. Sorry to say, French's. And if you check out the show notes, www.otheritemsofinterest.com. At the bottom, there's a click here link for the easy-to-make at-home recipe. Goes to McCormick.com. McCormick makes spices. I guess they make French's also, or own French's. I don't know. So do it yourself at home if you'd like. It could be something to do when you're bored and hot. That's all I got. While we have the files of things nobody wanted open, Oscar Mayer releasing hot dog infused ice cream sandwich. Frozen hot dogs. This comes from WQAD.com. Right off the bat, up top, they have a picture of the, and this is a professional picture. This is not like somebody took for Instagram or something. Information of what's going on here. The candied hot dog bits, hot dog sweet cream, cookie bun, spicy Dijon gelato. I don't know if I would eat this one either. Oscar Mayer has released a new product in response to French's mustard ice cream. French's announced Wednesday that the company was releasing the ice cream flavor for a limited run in New York City and Los Angeles, fuck everybody else, to celebrate National Mustard Day this upcoming Saturday. Now, Oscar Mayer is responding with their own sweet and savory treat, the Ice Dog Sandwich. This release comes just in time for National Ice Cream Sandwich Day, which is Friday, August 2nd. And we're past that point here, since this podcast is being released on the 6th. I guess you missed out. Sorry. The Ice Dog Sandwich includes hot dog sweet cream, spicy Dijon gelato, is infused real bits of candied Oscar Mayer hot dogs, and is served on a cookie bun. The company partnered with New York City's imaginative handmade ice cream company Il Laboratorio del Gelato. Well, that wasn't too bad. To help translate the experience of eating your favorite Oscar Mayer hot dog in frozen form. You can just freeze your hot dogs in the freezer. Just do that. And then you can just gnaw away at it as it becomes mush. That's delicious. During the week of August 12th, the iconic Wienermobile will be outfitted as an ice cream truck and passing out samples of the Ice Dog Sandwich in New York City's Manhattan area. Those who won't be in Manhattan during the week of August 12th but are interested in getting their hands on the sandwich are encouraged to direct message Oscar Mayer on Twitter to find out how they can get this special treat. And then we have a picture of the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile. Although it looks like it's like a bad Photoshop job going on. And that's it. And it's this is from Instagram, I guess. It says 19 people are talking about this. And they're all saying gross. Hey, it's time for weird shit from Florida. From clickorlando.com. Fuel cap falls from the sky. Mrs. Winter Garden woman in her own backyard. And right up top we have a picture of the fuel cap. I said fool cap. Fuel cap. A Winter Garden woman said she narrowly missed getting hit by an object that fell from the sky and landed in her backyard swimming pool. Dara Hackett said she and her friend were sitting on her patio Thursday afternoon when they both heard a very loud noise. "Worse than a gunshot," she said, "like a very, very, very loud bang, a ting noise. Then you heard it hit the pool and splash." Hackett said she found a disc-shaped object which was about 8 inches across. The label read "Fuel Servicing," and it had an odor. "It smells like gas," she said. "Where did it come from?" Hackett feared it fell from the sky, slicing through her screen enclosure. A quick internet search using the codes on the disc showed it was a commercial aircraft-grade fuel cap. She asked which aircraft did it come from. "That could have killed me," she said. "It could have killed my friend, and it could have killed my dog, and it could have leveled the neighborhood." Okay, she didn't say that part. The Federal Aviation Administration told News 6 there were no emergency landings reported at Orlando International Airport or Tampa International Airport on Thursday. Representatives from the agency said they were going to contact the family to get more details about what happened and find out where the fuel cap came from. I don't know. I think when she finds out who it came from, there might be a lawsuit. Just my guess, because that's how these things usually end. Well, it is a clue in a missing persons case, but an odd one at that. From the MiamiHerald.com, Australian farmer says human orthopedic plate found in croc. So the croc ate somebody who had an orthopedic plate, digested everything else but the plate. And there is the plate right up top in a picture. Evidence. An Australian crocodile farmer who found an orthopedic plate inside a croc's stomach said Thursday that he had been told the surgical device was from a person's body and had been contacted by relatives of missing people anxious for clues. Kurana Crocodile Farm owner John Lever found this plate inside a 4.7 meter, that's 15 foot and 5-inch croc called MJ during an autopsy in June at his business near Rockhampton in Queensland State. He initially wasn't sure if the unusual find had been part of an animal or human, but he said since making photos of the plate public, he had been told it was a type used in human surgery. Lever estimated that MJ was 50 to 70 years old when he died. MJ could have eaten the bone that the plate had been attached to by 6 screws 50 years ago, he said. All remnants of human tissue attached to the plate had been long digested before MJ died several months after losing a fight with another croc. Croc-on-croc violence. Lever later said that Queensland police had told him they had opened a missing person investigation and asked him to bring the plate to the Rockhampton station on Friday. A police spokesman told the AP he could not comment. Lever is continuing to make inquiries in the hope of discovering what decade the type of plate was used and perhaps who it had belonged to. "I wouldn't call it an investigation. We're making inquiries because we're fascinated by this whole thing," Lever said. "Obviously, this crocodile has chomped on something, and that plate has been left in its stomach, complete with screws." Lever bought MJ from a farmer in Innisfail, 600 miles north of Rockhampton, 6 years ago. Sometime earlier, MJ had been trapped in the wild. Crocodiles are protected in Australia and are only trapped if they are a threat to humans. We've had a couple of people get in touch with us about their relatives and have gone missing in the northern Queensland area, and they're anxious to find out. There's been nothing heard of these people. They've just disappeared, Lever said. We'll certainly keep these people informed of any new news that we can get. The last fatal crocodile attack in Australia was in October when a woman was snatched while gathering mussels with her family in a waterhole in a remote part of the Northern Territory. The last fatal attack in Queensland was a year earlier when a 79-year-old dementia patient was killed after wandering from a nursing home in Port Douglas. The crocodile population has exploded across the country's tropical north since the 1970s. Because saltwater crocodiles can live up to 70 years and grow throughout their lives, reaching up to 23 feet in length, the proportion of large crocodiles is also rising. Almost everything you wanted to know about crocodiles right there. Very strange story. This is all that was left over after somebody got eaten by MJ. Oh, the next... I said this comes from the Miami Herald. I'm not going to read this. The next story is teens duct tape 8-year-old playing at park to pole, steal his candy, Illinois cops say. What the hell is this world coming to? Crocodiles eating people, teenagers duct taping 8-year-olds to poles. I love a good Bigfoot story. Unfortunately, this isn't one of them. Shots fired at Mammoth Cave over an alleged Bigfoot sighting. From WKYT.com. A weekend camping trip in backcountry at Mammoth Cave National Park quickly took a dramatic turn for one couple. They were woken up in the middle of the night to strange noises and were met with an individual saying that something had destroyed their campsite. One of the campers, Brad Ginn, said the individual also said it was Bigfoot country, which seemed a little weird that he would say that. The individual then informed them that he was searching for whatever had destroyed his campsite and warned them to be careful. He said, "I hope you have weapons," and then he flashed his gun at us and was like, "I have this, so if anything happens to you, then just yell and I'll come," camper Madeline Durand said. Oh boy. The couple then decided to head back to their tent, but moments later they heard gunshots. They dialed 911 and hiked 5 miles back to their car in the parking lot to meet up with the park rangers. Smart move. Mammoth Cave National Park law enforcement rangers responded to a reporting of an individual with a firearm in one of our backcountry campsites in the early morning hours of Sunday, July 28th. Mammoth Cave's Public Information Officer Molly Schroer said. The Rangers made contact with all the parties involved. It is an ongoing investigation at this time. Mammoth Cave would like the public to know there are not any ongoing threats to the park, and it is safe to visit. So either one of two things happened. This guy was hot on the trail of a Bigfoot, and the Bigfoot did trash their campsite, or this nut traveling with a gun in the middle of the night trashed their campsite and blamed it on Bigfoot. I'm going to go with the odd redneck hillbilly with the gun traipsing through the woods. This is why I don't go camping, because this is the kind of shit that would happen to me. And the stories get stranger as we get towards the end of the show. I don't know if listeners have picked up on that, but that's how things work. From azfamily.com, Phoenix man on poop crusade makes chalk messages, circles poop left on sidewalk. And right up top, is a picture of a couple of poops circled with chalk and a message written in chalk. I can only read part of it because all it says is who's walking. A North Phoenix man says he's tired of pet owners not cleaning up after their dogs. Ain't no excuse, pick up that deuce, said Carl. If your dog drops a poop, you better have a scoop. Carl is using humor to address the problem. He wrote a chalk message you'll find near 32nd Street and Sweetwater Avenue saying, I'm not even mad at your dog. It wants what we all want, to wake up healthy and take a poop. I'm mad at you, the owner, for not cleaning it up. Good dog, bad owner, be better. He said he started writing messages like that around the neighborhood in May. He doesn't know who is responsible for leaving the poop. I just started circling the poop on the sidewalk, and then after a few walks, it just turned into a thing, said Carl. My neighbors enjoyed some of the poo murals I was coming up with. He was making murals? I just thought he was circling poop and writing messages, but he was making murals? That's quite impressive. The city of Phoenix said it can't do anything about poop left on sidewalks. There's a Maricopa County Department of Environmental Services statement, but it's like city code. I really don't want to read it because it's boring. I'm just going to read it as fast as possible. All right. Per Maricopa County Environmental Health Code, Chapter 11, Section 1B, manure and droppings shall be removed from pens, stables, yards, cages, and other enclosures at least twice weekly and handled or disposed of in an approved manner, free of health hazard or public health nuisance. Chapter 1, Regulation 3 establishes that the owner or person in charge of a property has the duty to take all necessary, reasonable, and usual precautions to keep, place, and preserve the same in such condition, and to conduct and maintain the same in such manner that it shall not be dangerous or deleterious to the public. Based on the MCEHC, Environmental Services Department will respond to complaints of animal droppings to ensure that property owners maintain their property free of public health nuisance. So it wasn't very interesting. I know that's as best as I could do. The county said if Carl were to reach out to them about poop on the sidewalk, there is nothing they could do since it's not on private property. The city of Phoenix also said there is no ordinance addressing pet owners who leave poop on the sidewalk. So the city cares about what's on a private person's property, but they don't give a shit, no pun intended, about, the sidewalk or the street or a park, which we all pay taxes for. Sounds about right. The city's statement said the city of Phoenix has city ordinance addressing trash and debris on private property. Neighborhood Services Department oversees the enforcement on a complaint basis. If private property homeowners have an excessive amount of litter or debris on the property, there are possible citations. Carl said his neighborhood has no homeowners association, which is why he made it his duty to address the duty. And we have another picture of it's a rather artistic photo of duty circled in blue and pink chalk. I can't read the message. It's upside down and cut off. And then we have yet another piece of duty on the sidewalk with the big quote I read up top where he says, good dog, bad owner, be better. So good on that guy, I guess. Keeps him busy from getting into other trouble. No picture of Carl. I'd be really curious as to know what Carl looks like. I wonder if I said poop more in this article than I did at the Japanese Poop Museum article. Because I said poop a lot in that one. I don't think I'm even close with this article. Anyway, you should really pick up after your dog. Don't leave it on the sidewalk. It's gross. Those are the best words of wisdom I have. And here we are at the end of the show, our last story. And I guess it's cute. It's odd. It's from theguardian.com. Germans kept up at night by noisy Idle sex. Idle sex is hedgehog coupling. If you don't know what coupling is, it's sex. I think that translated pretty well. Right up top is a picture of a hedgehog, he's a cute little fella. German emergency services called out to attend to nighttime disturbances are increasingly finding themselves confronted with copulating hedgehogs. I didn't even know Germany had hedgehogs as a native species. I mean, and I didn't know, I don't know anything about hedgehogs. So, all of this was a surprise to me. People are calling 110, the Germany equivalent of 911, to complain about noises they typically put down to neighbors having unacceptably loud sex or to injured animals crying out for help. The spread of the hashtag Hedgehog Sex on social media reveals the disturbances sometimes have a less predictable source. Recently, police in Augsburg were called to a primary school one night after suspicious noises were heard in the playground and a security light was activated. Only after the caretaker had been dragged out of bed and several police officers had inspected the site were the culprits found to be a pair of hedgehogs busily mating. I didn't know the caretaker lived at the school. Is like a janitor? That's crazy. The suspicious noises were soon pinned on a hedgehog couple in the midst of a mating ritual. A superintendent wrote in his report entitled "Prickly Intruders," adding that the hedgehogs were not disturbed. It's nice that they let them finish. The incident was not an isolated one. Police are frequently called out in the summer months to similar complaints, according to the news magazine Der Spiegel. It reports that hedgehogs are among the loudest nocturnal animals, competing with cicadas, frogs, and the Caribbean snapping shrimp. Now, I know I've heard cicadas and frogs at night, and they can make a ridiculous amount of noise. I don't know what the snapping shrimp sounds like, though. That's a new one on me. Hedgehogs are capable of making a range of sounds from a quiet snuffling to hissing, snarling, purring, whistling, clicking, and even loud screaming, which is what sometimes gets them mistaken for excited or distressed humans. I've never heard a hedgehog scream. I mean, I'd really like to learn more about hedgehogs, I think. I mean, I don't want to watch them have sex. That's not what I'm saying. They seem like interesting little animals. People keep them as pets. Okay, enough from me. It's not about me and what I know or don't know. According to a hedgehog expert at the veterinary faculty of the Ludwig Maximilian University in Munich, hedgehogs snarl loudly during the hours-long mating ritual, and the males make the most noise. To non-experts, their noises are often indistinguishable from human ones. Hours-long mating ritual. Man. The hedgehog mating ritual is a lengthy affair, known in German as Eigelkarussell, or hedgehog carousel, and takes place over an area of around hedgehog carousel. I don't know, that just hit me. Takes place over an area of around 40 square meters. Their most active period is between April and the beginning of September. Oh my God, this goes on for months. Emergency services personnel have taken advice from hedgehog experts who urge them to avoid disturbing the animals, not least because urban hedgehog populations have dropped dramatically in recent years and are under threat. Torchlight scares the animals and often breaks up the coupling, but quiet observation will not usually disturb them. If you want to watch, nothing on TV that night, go out to the backyard, watch the hedgehogs do it. The incidents have become fairly regular fodder for the local and national press. In Erlangen in 2016, a man reported a loud snuffling noise coming from under the stairs leading to his house, which turned out to be coming from a hedgehog couple. In Kamenz near Dresden in 2014, a man heard loud noises coming from a charity clothes collection bin. Thinking a cat or dog was in trouble, he called the police, who in turn called the fire brigade, who opened the bin with a they had to get a hydraulic spreader to open it up, and they found a hedgehog couple hidden inside. A police report from Dusseldorf in 2003 said a call out to loud knocking noises in a garden led to inspectors finding 2 hedgehogs who were having fun and in a few weeks will have offspring. And that's it. That's all the information we get about the hedgehogs and their mating and their noises. So what have we learned? What have we learned on this episode? We learned more about the Biological Resource Center and how they fuck up people's loved ones. We learned about school superintendent violence at Whataburger after midnight. Learned a kid had over 526 teeth in his mouth. We learned about disgusting ice cream they're trying to give New York City and LA. Learned about a weird hillbilly redneck traipsing through the woods in the middle of the night, trashing campsites and blaming it on Bigfoot. We learned about poop in Phoenix, dog poop that is. And we learned about hedgehog sex. What I'm doing with the show, what we're doing with this show, I don't know anymore. I hope you're having a good time listening. We're having a good time for the most part. We're bewildered more and more every week. I like being bewildered. It's not a bad state to be in. Because when you're bewildered, you can always say, cue the music. And this would be the end. This has been Other Items of Interest. I've been Jack Zablocki. Visit us online at www.otheritemsofinterest.com. Email us at otheritemsofinterestpod@gmail.com. Visit us on Twitter at otheritems. And that's it. Bye-bye, everybody.